No.
Okay.
Cloud switch.
Yeah, so I am saying link between two devices is showing down. At physical layer, you can verify the cable ports, right? TX, RX as you said. The main troubleshooting will start from
L2.
layer 2, L2, right? And let's say on one link is there, let's say between two switch only. Between, I have two switches, multi-layer switches are there, fine. On multi-layer switches, layer 2 and layer 3, both the protocols are working, am I right?
Correct.
Yes.
So for an example, this is switch 1 and this is switch 2 and link is trunk. Here I have, let's say VLAN 12. Here also VLAN 12 SVI. And on this SVI we are running any routing protocol OSPF. We can do this?
Yes.
We can do this, right? So this link is going to carry layer 2 protocol traffic as well as layer 3 protocol traffic. Like on this link, we will have L2 traffic as well, like your STP traffic. L2 traffic, STP, then your VTP traffic,
yeah,
your DTP traffic, .1Q,
correct, sir.
then CDP, L2 EtherChannel, and so on. On L3, we have OSPF. So tell me one thing, that if any L2 protocol is not working fine, L2 protocol is not working, let's say STP is not working fine between on this link, on this trunk link, can my OSPF work?
No.
Is L2 mandatory for L3? Yes. L2 is mandatory for L3. If your L2 will work, because here L3 is working on L2. So if OSPF neighbor is done, first of all you are going to troubleshoot L3 or L2?
L2, sir.
If you need to configure quality of service, to whom you will give higher priority?
L2.
L2, sir.
See, if switch 1 need to send two messages, two messages are there. One is OSPF hello message, and one is STP BPDU message. Which message switch 1 should send first?
BPDU first.
Layer 2, right?
Yes.
So later when you will configure the queue as quality of service, then also you have to prioritize BPDU over OSPF hello message, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right? So L2 is mandatory for L3. To configure any L3 protocol here, your L2 protocol should work properly first. Right? So if the port is, as I told you, shut down, so definitely first you are going to verify the layer 1. In the layer 1 you are going to check the physical cables, ports, the ports are inserted properly or not, the connector and those all things. Then layer 2. On layer 2, tell me some commands, like troubleshooting commands, how you are going to troubleshoot the layer 2 issues on switch, or let's say on the router.
Yeah.
So
show STP VLAN 12 like we have given the.
So spanning tree.
Yeah, VLAN 12.
VLAN 12. Okay, we can check STP instance for VLAN 12.
Yeah.
By using this command, what you want to verify?
Sir, forwarding the port is, trunk port is in forwarding state or not, sir?
Trunk port is in forwarding state or not. Right?
Correct.
You can also use show CDP neighbor to check the connected devices, to find the connected devices. And the most
Correct.
important thing is show interface status. Show interface status. This is commonly used command to troubleshoot layer 2 issues. In the status, you can see your port is connected, not connected, right? Error disable.
Correct.
And we have commands to verify all the protocols, all the layer 2 protocols. So first of all, we are going to verify all the layer 2 issues. We can check the CRC error on the links, on the WAN link. It's come under layer 2 troubleshooting only. Guys, if there is CRC issue on the link, that is the error comes under which layer?
Layer 1.
Layer 2.
So it comes because of the physical media only, right?
Yes. It can be
Oh,
because of your protocol also. Layer 2 protocols.
okay.
Sir, what CRC does?
Right? Line protocol. Line protocol is a part of which layer?
L2 layer.
L2 only. Right? So checking line protocol of interface. What is line protocol, guys? Let's start from here only. First question is, what is line protocol? This is interview question, trust me. This is interview question. I had received this question in interview few years back. Question number 1. What is line protocol? If I have, let's say, 2 router only, 2 router. If the both ports are administratively down, the line protocol is going to be what?
Admin down.
R1, R2. This is F0/0 and this is F0/1. On order number 1 also admin has shut this port, admin down. Link is admin down. So line protocol is going to be up or down?
Down.
Down. Down.
And their status?
Down.
Status is also going to be down. But if
Down.
admin is going to run no shut command here?
Yes, sir.
Then it will be up.
No,
So
then
interface status would be up, line protocol would be still down, can be down.
See, admin have up this port, but this port is administratively down.
Still down.
Still down.
So
So
status
here
would be down.
status will be
up,
what?
Up,
Status is going to be up
and line protocol would be down.
and line protocol is going to be
Down.
down. Means line protocol is nothing but the status of connected
Link.
device.
Logical link.
Connected device, right? It is going to be
Correct.
down. Down. Right? And if here also I am going to up this port from down to up. Here also if admin is, what happened? My
Status from
my mouse is not working properly here on the paint. Yeah, this port is also administratively up. Now status is going to be up
correct.
and line protocol is also going to be
Up.
up. On order number 1, line protocol is going to be what up now?
Both the status and line protocol would be up, sir.
Both are going to be up. And now let's say administrator has run no shut command on both the interface. Administratively both the ports are up. Status are up, but line protocol of both the interfaces are showing down. Here line protocol is showing down. Here also line protocol is showing what? Down.
Down.
Now what can be the reason?
Sir, we can
sir, it should be duplex setting or IP configuration.
Very good. Duplex IP. How IP configuration? Even
IP would be
The
a L3.
subnets
IP would be
both
L3.
in C and P connection.
let's say I have not configured the IP address.
Okay, then sir, duplex.
Negotiation and duplexer.
See, when we were configuring our span or span, at that time you have seen the line protocol of monitoring port was also down. But that was not an issue, right, guys? It doesn't mean if line protocol is down means it is issue only. The line protocol of my monitoring interface was showing down, but everything was working fine, right? In the span, your destination port line protocol is going to be always down. If we have issue with duplex, sometime issue with speed, because in most of the scenario we are going to configure these things like duplex or speed auto. Even by default, if you will see the configuration of your Cisco switches, it is going to be auto only by default, right? Or L2 protocols. Due to L2 protocols only, my line protocol can be down. So if we have scenario like this, we need to troubleshoot L2 issues, right? Always keep in mind L2 is more important than, guys, L3. L3 comes after L2 only, right? Whenever there is issue, first you should verify L2. Okay, now let's ask some question from the interview. Like, let me ask you some basic question first, right? Like, interviewer is going to ask you these questions from the switching to just test your basic knowledge, right? Like, they can ask you what is VLAN and why we are using VLAN. Yeah, tell me, what is VLAN and why we are using?
VLAN used to divide the single broadcast domain into multiple broadcast domain. It is useful for scalability, network management.
कुछ तो problem है.
For security as well.
Logical network, sir. VLAN is a logical network.
Yeah,
Okay,
divide single
Broadcast
network
domain
into
into
different logical net.
okay. So many of you are saying that dividing large broadcast domain,
domain.
right? Like segmentation. The best definition can be
Segmentation.
segmentation at layer 2. Segmentation means dividing large
Network into
broadcast domain
smaller network.
or network into a smaller network. Right? Means we are dividing broadcast domain. Means we are dividing network at which layer?
Layer 2.
At layer 2 again.
Yes, sir.
It means segmentation at layer 2 is called VLAN. Dividing multiple. What is broadcast domain? See, from the question also they can ask you multiple questions, like when you will answer that dividing large broadcast domain into a smaller broadcast domain, then they can ask you what is broadcast domain.
Where the broadcast message can travel.
Broadcast domain, a domain means area where broadcast message can be travel, right? And if we have large broadcast domain, then what is the issue?
Sir,
They can
If
ask
message
the
will
you
be
issue in large
broadcast message
broadcast
is sent by one device, it will received by all other devices and it will affect the entire network.
issue of large broadcast domain.
so suppose a link is end user link is goes down, so
Max
it will be
flooding.
sending MAC. It will be means updating the MAC table and information to all the networks, all the devices into the network.
Okay. So we
So
can
that
say
is
low
why
performance.
correct.
If the broadcast domain is large, we will have low performance. As broadcast domain will increase, performance is going to be decreased. It is inversely proportional to performance. And performance is connected to CPU. If
Yes.
devices are using more CPU, then performance is going to be again reduced. Another issue,
Slowness, sir.
slowness.
Network.
Yeah, slowness also, you can say slowness also comes under
Loop,
performance.
network loop.
Loop. No, we cannot say loop.
No,
How loop
loop
can form?
cannot be formed over here if a port goes down.
We cannot implement
Sir,
security or
and
QS for a specific department or a specific part of the network. If all the devices belongs to same broadcast domain, right, then we cannot configure, we cannot separate any department, right? And where we are using VLAN, guys, on which switch?
Layer 2 switch.
Layer 2 and layer
Layer
3
3.
3 port. Yeah.
On
SVI
both
is on layer 3.
on both the switches. Then they can ask you different types of VLAN. How many types of VLAN are there?
Native VLAN,
Standard VLAN and
extended
extended
VLAN,
VLAN.
Standard and extended VLAN, sir. Two types.
private VLAN.
And also there is some reserved VLAN also.
What is the difference between, guys, extended VLAN and extended VLAN?
Sir, range is from
Okay, accept range.
1 to
And
1005.
extended
Is
VLAN
standard
used with ISP.
Very good. Any other difference?
So range is different for both standard and extended VLANs.
Yeah, except range I am asking.
Okay.
Standard VLAN saved in the memory and the extended VLAN saved in the running configuration or something.
Okay. Anything else? Can anyone tell me or know the difference? Anything else? Extended VLAN supports VTP version 3. We cannot propagate extended VLAN information through VTP version 1 and 2.
Yes.
Right? And extended VLAN can be propagated by using any VTP version, all VTP version. Extended VLAN used in a small to medium sized enterprises and extended VLAN used in service provider network to extend their infrastructure. See, when we talk about, guys, VPN, right, in the last class also, like in the webinar, many of you have seen the VPN concepts. So actually VPN is extending the private network, right, over public network, right? So we can extend our network at layer 2 also, or we can extend it at layer 3 also. We can extend our private network virtually at layer 2 as well as at layer 3. So service providers uses extended VLAN to extend layer 2 network. These are some basic differences. Then they can ask you what is the difference between access port and trunk port.
Access port, which is part of single VLAN, then trunk port, it can carry multiple
Carry the
VLANs.
traffic of multiple VLANs.
Access port carry traffic of single VLAN and trunk port carry traffic of by default
Multiple
all the
VLANs.
VLAN.
Yes.
By default, all the VLAN. And how switch is going to identify the VLAN ID at trunk link?
By tagging, by the tag.
By tagging.
Yeah.
Everyone. How switch is going to identify the traffic at trunk link?
Sir, VLAN tagging only, sir.
And on the access port?
It will learn the MAC address from the MAC table.
No, I am asking you how it is going to identify the VLAN ID. Let's say here is one PC is in VLAN 10. How
Yes,
it will
sir.
identify that this PC is in VLAN 10 only?
Sir, first when we will configure the IP on the PC, sir, it will check the gracious, send the gracious app, sir.
You can see whenever switch is going to receive traffic on 0/0, it is going to check their receiving interface is a part of
Which VLAN?
which VLAN.
VLAN.
Right? So if receiving interface is a part of VLAN 10, that means it is VLAN 10 traffic. And on the trunk link by using tag. And how switch can perform tagging on the trunk link?
By .1Q or ISL.
02.
By using protocol like
802.1.
ISL and .1Q. Correct? What is the difference between ISL and .1Q?
ISL is Cisco property.
Cisco proprietary. And
And
.1Q
.1Q
is
is open
open
standard.
standard.
Another
Sir,
difference?
how access port will identify VLAN?
By their receiving interface.
Okay.
Whenever switch receive traffic, bro, it is learning the source MAC address, right, in their MAC address table. So it is going to find their receiving interface is a member of which VLAN, right? In that VLAN MAC address table, it is going to make entry, right? Let's say here I have one another PC in VLAN 20, 0/1. So right now switch is maintaining two MAC address table, one for VLAN 10 and one for VLAN 20.
20.
Right? So if it is receiving any traffic over here, right, it is going to learn source MAC address in this MAC address table. If it is receiving any traffic over here, it is going to make entry in this MAC address table. Correct?
Correct, sir.
Any other difference between ISL and .1Q?
Sir, maybe .1Q support native VLAN and ISL not support .1Q.
Very good. First of all, first difference is the most important, which interviewer always want from you guys, is this difference. Native VLAN concept, right? And another question is also there. What is
Native VLAN then.
VLAN?
Sir,
Right.
when we don't want or switch to perform the tagging, so we make that
Untagged
VLAN as a
VLANs.
native VLAN, sir. For the untagged traffic, sir.
Very good. It is used to perform untagged traffic on trunk link. It is used to send untagged traffic on the trunk link. Why we need native VLAN? What is the benefit? Whenever guys
Sir,
switch is
CPU
going to perform,
utilization,
yes.
sir, it will
Very good.
matlab, increase the CPU if you're tagging and
When
untagging
any
distance,
device
sir.
is performing encapsulation or decapsulation, it means it is using their CPU.
CPU.
Right? So for the general employees, we can configure native VLAN, right? There is no like I don't need security and those all things, but just I need connectivity. For some general employees, I can configure the VLAN as a native VLAN. If native VLAN mismatch, then which protocol is going to inform you? Which protocol is going to generate log?
STP, sir. I
No.
think. Switch will
Native
matlab,
VLAN
generate
mismatch
logs.
message.
Yes. Native
Which
VLAN
protocol will
mismatch
generate
error.
native VLAN mismatch message?
FTP, sir?
No.
Then, sir, this on .1Q only, sir. CDP.
CDP. And if CDP is disabled, then you cannot receive native VLAN mismatch log message. Then you
Okay.
have to troubleshoot it. Another difference between ISL and .1Q can be, the size of their header, extra information. Size of their header. If I will talk about .1Q, so .1Q is going to add just a small information. It is going to add, one just field in your Ethernet header. At layer 2, we have Ethernet header in the traffic. So .1Q protocol is going to just add one tag field there. Which field? Tag field. And the length of this tag field is 4 bytes. But ISL is going to add one extra header only. ISL is going to add extra header. Guys, if I will talk about Ethernet header, layer 2 header, what are the important fields?
Source MAC, destination MAC,
Source MAC,
type field,
destination MAC.
Very good.
type,
Destination MAC,
type field, type field,
destination MAC, then source MAC,
then type field,
type field,
and then
Frame
your
checksum.
checksum, frame checksum. That's it.
checksum, okay.
Code.
App CS and those all things, fine. I am ignoring those all things. After that, I will have actual data. These are most important fields of Ethernet header. Right? For the quality of service, you will have one more field here that is called
QoS.
Sir, for COS, cost something.
COS.
QoS.
No, COS.
COS.
For L2 it is COS and L3 it is QoS.
Right, there will be 3 bits. We can use it for prioritizing the traffic, like layer 2 traffic, layer 3 traffic. As I told you, first we will prioritize layer 2 over layer 3.
What is
Right.
COS full for? Cost of file.
Class of service.
Quality of service. Over here, class of service.
For the class of.
Right, so .1Q is going to add one extra field here with name tag, and this field is going to carry your VLAN
Traffic.
information. If I
And
will
what
talk
about
about
the
this
ISL?
tag field, so this tag field is only going to carry which field?
VLAN.
From the information.
You can say native
QoS
VLAN
field.
information.
Let's see, this tag is carrying how many things? First of all, VLAN ID, right? First
Correct.
of all, VLAN ID. Length of VLAN ID is 12 bits. The total length of this tag field is 4 bytes. Out of 4 bytes, 12 bits is your VLAN ID. Then encapsulation protocol field will there, type field and priority. These are going to be extra information in this tag field. Right, so most important
So in
field
the
is here.
priority only, so in the priority only QoS will be defined, right?
Yes. Right, so the another difference is ISL is going to add complete header and .1Q is just going to add 4 bytes extra information with your actual data. Yes. ISL also supports, up to 1000 number of VLANs only. 1000 VLAN, and .1Q supports all the VLAN. 4096. All the VLANs are supported by .1Q. I think by ISL 1000. I think so. You can check it.
Sir, what would be the in ISL protocol? What would be the packet, like in destination source would be there, type would be there, data would be there, and what else would
In
be
the
there in
ISL
ISL?
header, destination address, source address, type, user, length field is there, which will carry the total length, and some more fields are there.
Okay.
These are extra information. What is the length of ISL header, guys? Anyone? ISL header is 26 bytes information. Ethernet header length is 20 bytes. 20 bytes plus 26. So if you are using ISL, then total length is going to be 46 of layer 2 header. And if you are using .1q, then 20 bytes of Ethernet header and 4 bytes of extra information tag field. So it is going to be 24 bytes.
So if you can say it is faster as well then?
Yes,
.1q.
of course. That's why we are using .1q only every time.
Correct.
You will not find
Less
ISL
bandwidth
protocol. So sometimes they can
less
ask you
bandwidth
like,
from sir.
sometimes they can ask you the question like difference between tagging protocols, VLAN tagging protocols also. So just to check your knowledge difference. Right? Then next question can be what? From the switching. These are related to VLAN and trunking only. Then they can ask you VLAN hopping. What is VLAN hopping? Pruning, VTP pruning. What is
Sir,
VLAN hopping?
pruning. Okay.
VLAN hopping. Yes. Rahul?
Sir, I'm not able to memorize. आपने बताया था
Anyone
class में.
else?
The tuning which we are filtering out, we are eliminating some VLANs. And
This is also related to VLAN only, VLAN.
Correct.
It is used to avoid attack through native VLAN. After VLAN hopping, what will happen? .1q will start performing tagging for native VLAN as well.
Okay. Means if a user is connected in, if a user knows the native VLAN, he can connect and put
Yes.
himself same VLAN. So
And then they
he
can
can attack
send
our
message.
network. Yeah.
Yeah.
So to avoid that, we can in enabling this hopping.
Hopping. If someone is going to ask you like what is VLAN hopping, you can say it is used to perform tagging for native VLAN. It is used to perform tagging for native VLAN. You know the native VLAN. So see how carefully you have to cover all the topics, guys. Everything is basic, right? But people are not able to answer correctly in the interview. You know everything. And can you tell me what will happen if native VLAN will not match on the trunk link? Two questions are there in my mind. Two questions are there. One is, we are going to configure native VLAN on the switch or on the link port of switch. If I have 3 switch
On the port of
Under the port.
on port or switch, switch will have native VLAN or the trunk link will have native VLAN.
Trunk link.
Trunk link will have native VLAN, sir.
Trunk link will have native VLAN, right? So on switch number 2, see I have 2 trunk link. On the switch number 2, I have 2 trunk link. This is also trunk link. And this is also trunk link. So both the interfaces should have native VLAN. Here I can have native VLAN 10. Here I can have native VLAN 10. Here I can have native VLAN 20. Here I can have native VLAN 20. Will I get native VLAN mismatch error in this scenario?
Yes, because VLAN.
Many people are
No,
saying yes
no,
in the
no, no,
interchange.
no,
No,
no, no,
no, no,
no, sir.
no.
Because
There will
we
be
are
no.
enabling we are
Because
enabling trunking that native VLAN
in
concept
different
on the
features.
trunk port only, sir. So
Yes,
these are different trunk ports.
yes. Guys, in the routing protocol through network command, we are advertising the protocol OSPF or BGP or EIGRP protocol through network command. Network commands enable OSPF or any routing protocol on the router or on the interface of router.
Interface of the router,
On
sir.
interface of the router. Routing protocols not work on router. These protocols works on interface. Similarly, the native VLAN is working on port of switch, not on the switch. Here will not get native VLAN mismatch error. But if here native VLAN is 10 on switch number 2, 1, and on switch number 2 this interface native VLAN is 20. In this case I will get native VLAN mismatch. Now question was what will happen if native VLAN is mismatched here between switch 1 and switch 2? What will happen?
So first of all, the error would occur, sir. Native
Okay,
VLAN.
if CDP is running, you will get the error native VLAN mismatch error. Okay, fine.
And sir, and it is occurring because switch 2 is expecting basically the native VLAN of 10, basically receiving interface in VLAN tag VLAN 10 on switch 1, right?
Okay.
So switch 2 expect कर रहा है कि native VLAN 2 का traffic 10 का traffic आए, but it is the receiving interface is having
What will be changes
native
in
VLAN.
STP if I am going to run command show a spanning tree protocol? Will there any difference in the output if native VLAN is mismatch?
Forwarding वो तो
See,
होगा.
PVST protocol is running. PVST plus on both the switches. Per VLAN, spanning tree. Or per VLAN, RSTP. Here also, here also. You will find your ports in blocking state. See, both the switches are going to become root bridge for VLAN 10 and 20. Am I right?
Correct,
Yeah.
sir.
Because switch 1 is going to send their BPDU for VLAN 10 without tag. And switch 2 will consider that as a BPDU of VLAN 20. Am I right, guys?
Correct.
Because if switch 2 is receiving any traffic, any untagged traffic, that means that is native VLAN traffic. And native VLAN is VLAN 20. That means the BPDU of VLAN 10 of switch number 1 will become BPDU of VLAN 20 on switch number 2.
Sir, can you repeat once, sir? Yes.
What I am saying, question is very simple. What will happen if the native VLAN is mismatched on the trunk link? This is the question. Then you said that we'll get the log message, first issue. That is true. Through CDP will receive the native VLAN mismatch error. Then I ask you, will be any change in the STP? So you said yes, STP port like this is, let's say 0/0. So 0/0 port is going to be in blocking state, right? You can configure these types of scenarios here. Lab.
Sir, and then next story, why it is blocking, sir? Like you said.
Let me tell you.
We can do it, sir.
There's a mismatch
Just
in the PBST, sir.
Yeah, correct. कोई topology
Because
है?
PBST is based on the VLANs.
कोई topology switching ये वाला
हाँ, simple.
perfect है. Just I'm going to configure trunk link and I will configure the different native VLAN interface. So interface trunk is not configured. Go to interface E0/0 and switch port trunk, switch port mode trunk. if I am going to run this command, will switch accept this command, guys?
No, sir. Encapsulation config is outside.
First, we have to define the encapsulation protocol, right? So you can see command rejected. So switch port trunk encapsulation dot 1q and then switch port mode trunk. And after that switch port trunk native VLAN 10. Native VLAN 10. Done. You can verify it. So interface trunk. Native VLAN is what? On 0/0. 10. And on switch number 2, I am leaving it on default. In let's say 1 only. Or if you want, you can put it in. You can configure 20 also. So interface trunk. Native VLAN is 1 and encapsulation protocol is .1q through negotiation and port is mode is desirable. Right. Manually also we can configure here interface E0/0 switch port trunk encapsulation .1q and switch port mode trunk. Right. And one more thing here, let me do interface E0/0 switch port trunk native VLAN 20. Right. And do so VLAN brief. VLAN 10 is there, VLAN 20. Let me create VLAN 20 here. And on switch number 1, you can see which protocol is sending guys native VLAN mismatch error. CDP. Do so VLAN brief. VLAN 20. Now, if I will disable the CDP, will I get native VLAN mismatch error? This message. Interface E0/0. How to disable CDP? No CDP. Run. Run or enable? Enable. On switch number 1 also interface E0/0. No CDP. Enable. Wait, what's that? CDP is very powerful protocol, brother. Right? Through CDP we can achieve routing as well. ODR.
Sir, but CDP is not used like widely. No? There will be different devices connected in network. So how to know that my neighbor is like how to know the neighbor who is
So CDP
connecting
neighbor.
to... Sir, but CDP is Cisco proprietary, right?
So on Cisco devices only you can use it.
Sir.
LLDP protocol is there for open standard.
Sir, but LLDP is not used. No? Like,
so even we are not using the CDP also. So you will not get native VLAN mismatch error.
So that time, how will I identify, sir?
What you want to identify?
Show interface trunk command.
This VLAN is mismatching.
So a spanning tree. So I am on switch number 1. See, this is STP instance for VLAN 1, STP instance for VLAN 10, and STP instance for VLAN 20. Everything looks fine here.
DPTP is on 4.
Right. Again, I am going to enable CDP E0/0. CDP run is the command or enable.
CDP enabled.
CDP enable.
The two switches, sir, will not be seeing or will receive BPDU because they are in different
Still LAN users
VLANs.
cannot communicate, na brother? Because switch 1 will not perform tagging 4. VLAN 10. And switch 2 will consider that VLAN 20 traffic. Now here is one PC who is using IP address 10.1. Here is one user who is using IP 10.2. If this is in VLAN 10 and this is in VLAN 20, can these two PC communicate?
No.
Yes.
They can
Yes, sir.
communicate.
Yes.
Sir, how, sir? Because the over here, E0/0
Okay, see
on
how
switch 2.
when I'm going to ping 10.2, source IP 10.1.1.1, destination IP
Correct.
10.1.1.2 or 0.0.2, it will forward to switch. Switch will receive it on this interface. This interface is a part of VLAN 10. It will
Correct.
forward from the trunk link. Native VLAN is 10, so it will not perform tagging.
Correct.
When switch 2 will receive on this interface. Tag is not there, but this link is the trunk link. So that means this is traffic of native VLAN and native VLAN is 20. It will forward from here.
Okay.
Right, so even both belongs to different VLAN, but both are using same IP address from the same subnet, and even ping is working.
And if it would have been destination would be 20.2, that would not have worked, right?
Yes. Then the gateway is required, no?
Correct.
If here I have one more question. What I am saying, see VLAN 10 and VLAN 20 is there on this switch also. VLAN 10 and 20 is there on this switch also. Interviewer is saying that for VLAN 10 and 20, both switches are root bridge.
Root bridge. Yes,
Both
sir.
switches are root bridge. What can be the issue?
Sir, no BPD is being exchanged between the switches.
Yes. So what can be the
Trunk
reason
link,
of that?
Sir, this
trunk link is
trunk link
not saved.
is down, sir. Basically, you can say.
Trunk link is up. For the VLAN 30, everything is working fine. Now,
So both switches will treat other side just a normal PC because there's no BPD user.
no. In this case, maybe on the trunk link, VLAN 10 and 20 are not allowed.
Allowed, yeah.
In that case, this switch cannot forward BPD or VLAN 10. Just you should think like this, that VLAN 10 and 20 user are not able, VLAN 10 and 20 are not able to exchange their BPDU. Why they are not
Yes.
able to exchange BPDU if trunk is up? Maybe VLAN is not allowed there.
Correct, sir.
So they can, interviewer can create these types of scenario just to confuse you. You will say, okay, both the PC are different VLAN, definitely they will not communicate. Right? So like,
Sir, if we are not configuring allowed VLANs here, I am configuring both side as trunk port. Then it will communicate, right?
then it will communicate. Yes.
So there will be no issue with the root bridge.
No.
सर ये डीपी पोर्ट मतलब उस पे क्यों नहीं गया
Yeah.
किसी भी स्विच का भी जब विलेन मिसमैच है तो
DP is
क्या नहीं
selecting
किया मतलब?
in spanning tree only, right?
सर यू सेड ना कि स्पैनिंग ट्री अगर विलेन मिसमैच वुड बी देयर ऑन द स्विचेस सो स्पैनिंग ट्री में फॉर VLAN 10 और 20 वी कैन चेक इट ब्लॉकिंग स्टेट में चला जाएगा
नहीं.
There's no blocking because there's no other
No
ports
blocking.
or cables connected.
हाँ सर देयर कैन बी वन रीजन सर ही इज करेक्ट कि फिजिकली तो देयर इज नो डिटेंडेंट सो ब्लॉकिंग होगा ही नहीं
बिल्कुल नहीं. कभी कभी आपको STP का पोर्ट दिखेगा कि पोर्ट इज DP, then also status is blocking. Sometimes your DP port can be also in blocking state.
है
Yes. 20 and interface E0/2 switch port access VLAN 5. So a spanning tree for VLAN 1, okay. VLAN 20. The scenario भी मेरे भी दिमाग से ये कुछ था. We can try with removing the VLAN from the trunk link. Let me say E0/0 and switch port trunk. Allowed VLAN. How I can remove VLAN 10?
Allowed
Remove,
VLAN 20 only, sir.
VLAN,
Remove
remove
Mhm.
10.
10, comma.
Okay.
10, 20.
Yeah. If both the VLAN needs to be removed, then
And your native VLAN was also what?
VLAN 10
10.
was, yes.
Right. Let me do it for VLAN 20 also and show a spanning tree. यहाँ पे कुछ error आता है क्या? This switch is fine. It's showing DP. All the ports are DP on switch number 2. So a spanning tree. 30 सेकंड के बाद ही दिखेगा भी, अगर कुछ होगा भी तो चेंजेस. अब तो इसको रिसीव नहीं होना चाहिए ना बीपीडीओ.
नहीं, but by default sir सारी VLAN allowed होती हैं वैसे.
For VLAN 10 and 20, you can see this switch is also saying I am root bridge. Both ports are
Designated.
this is root bridge, and switch 1 is also saying same thing, that I am the root bridge. See, both the ports are DP.
So if VLAN is mismatched, native VLAN is mismatched, then both the ports would be.
No, if the VLAN are not allowed there on the trunk
Okay.
link. Right. If I will remove VLAN 10 from here also, interface E0/0, and if I am going to say switch port trunk allowed VLAN, remove VLAN or 10. Here is the native VLAN mismatch right now, but we are not able to verify that. Right, log message is the only things, but guys, because of security we are not using CDP protocol. I must tell
CDP.
you,
Yes.
CDP is not secure protocol. तो ऐसा कोई हमें डायरेक्टली कनेक्टेड डिवाइस चेक करने की जरूरत नहीं है.
डायरेक्टली कनेक्टेड डिवाइस हमें चेक करना हो तो उसके लिए कमांड सीडीपी नहीं चल रहा है
तो नहीं कर सकते ना.
ट्रेस में पता चलता है, ट्रेस में तो
कौन सा ट्रेस? ट्रेस में लेयर 3 ट्रेस.
Description only we can check in that case.
डिस्क्रिप्शन में
That would be the only
both
option
the
we
switches
डिस्क्रिप्शन
are
में नहीं रहेगा तो फिर
both the switches are root bridge
root bridge now.
for both the VLAN. Right now I am going to allow the traffic E0/0 switch port trunk allowed VLAN, and here you will use add keyword, add 10 and 20 and also VLAN 5.
सर रूट ब्रिज चेक करने का एक और कमांड था ना.
क्या?
वीटीपी स्टेटस में दिखा नहीं, वीटीपी में तो वो मोड दिखाएगा.
Switch port trunk allowed VLAN, add 10, 20, 5. So interface status, अगर आप if you want to check the status, in status everything will looks fine. You can see all the ports are connected. 0/0, 0/0 is connected. So interface status here also. Right, even we cannot find the native VLAN things here.
So interface trunk में we can find out, right?
So interface trunk only in VLAN. So interface trunk you can find the native VLAN.
20 is there.
Right, and you have to correct it.
And sir,
यहाँ पे क्या है?
Sir, if you don't mind, can you run show CDP neighbor there?
So CDP neighbor, yes.
Yeah. In this field, what is this capability?
Capability
It means
means
what?
sir option है ना एक
What does it
capability.
mean?
RSI code is there, sir. Capability
Because
में.
sometimes when we are checking the Wi-Fi, then it's coming W. Then
this one.
when we are checking telephone, showing T.
So here are the information. You can see the capability code, na?
Okay. Yes.
For
All
the
right.
sys.
Okay.
Yeah. Then next question can be what?
सर एक चीज और यहाँ पे परफॉर्म करके दिखा दीजिए। स्विच PC3 को भी सेम आईपी एक बार दे दीजिए।
PC3
हाँ जी 10.1.1.1 मैक फ्लैपिंग सर मेरे को देखना है।
1.1.1/24
करेक्ट सर।
एंड PC1
एंड
को
पीसी
भी
हाँ
तो ये लेगा।
ग्रेसेस आप जनरेट करेगा ये।
हाँ ये /8 से लेना है।
सर कैप्चरिंग दिखा दीजिए एक बार।
कौन सा कैप्चरिंग? इट इज गिविंग यू एरर। It is accepting the IP address. I think
हाँ सर
both are in different VLAN.
एक
On
बार
switch
वीलन
number
देखेंगे।
1.
सर
So
बेसिकली मुझे
VLAN
मैक फ्लैपिंग देखना था कि दोनों तरफ से अगर आ रहा है तो।
मैक फ्लैपिंग के लिए तो आपको लिंक रखना पड़ेगा ना रिडंडेंट। ये VLAN 5 में है। इंटरफेस E0/1 switch port access VLAN 10 and interface E0/0 switch port trunk native VLAN
10
and on switch number 2 also interface E0/0 switch port trunk native VLAN
10
and interface E0/1 switch port access VLAN 10. Now on the PC number 1, if I will configure the IP, same IP.
ले लिया।
So IP all 10.1 and on PC3 so IP all, still reachability is not there. Wait for 30 seconds. Now you can see not yet 10.2/24. For the MAC flapping क्या चेक करना पड़ेगा आपको? लिंक ऐड करना पड़ेगा ना मल्टीपल
ट्रंक स्विचेस के बीच में।
yes. So when I am configuring 10.1 it is giving me error that this MAC address is already using this IP address. Right, this is MAC
And
address of
we can check this MAC address is learning from where.
PC1 MAC address. This is MAC address of PC1 who is using this IP address. This can be also interview question. How PC will get to know that IP address is duplicate or unique?
By sending the gracious ARP, sir.
How gracious ARP works? How GARP works?
When we configure the IP address on a PC, it will send one gracious ARP request.
What will be the source IP and destination IP in gracious ARP?
Source IP would be 0.0.0.
No.
The IP
0.0.0 means IP is unknown. When source IP is unknown, then it is going to use 0.0.0.
The
If I
same
am
IP which we are configuring.
same IP, source is also going to be same, destination is also going to be same, right?
Same.
So who will generate reply if someone is using this IP address?
Using the same IP address, then they will generate the
Reply.
reply.
If PC will get the reply, then
It will not assign this,
the
sir.
Then it
error.
will drop
Yes.
the.
So they can ask you STP protocol. What is STP? Why we need STP? So you know STP is used to avoid
Routing loop.
layer 2
Loop
loop,
in the layer two.
switching loop.
Yeah.
Right, guys. If there is no redundancy, then is STP required?
No.
Then STP is not required. This is also interview question only. I have two switch, both are connected through one single link. Is STP required? No.
No.
They can ask you the difference between PBST, PBST plus, RSTP, MST, the protocol. What is the difference between RSTP and MST?
In RSTP, they are using
Load balance.
single spanning tree instances for all the VLANs.
First of all, RSTP cannot perform load balancing. So if I will use RPVST, then what is the difference between RPVST and MST? Both are performing load balancing.
Single instance for VLAN in RPST and for
RSTP, you can say RSTP run per VLAN instances, and MST run instances
range
for
of
range
VLAN
of
for
VLAN, group
instance.
of VLAN. Very good. Yes.
Grouping and mapping of VLANs.
Yes. So we can achieve load balancing for range of VLANs here, right? Like the main difference is in terms of CPU only. If I have 100 number of VLAN, RSTP is generating 100 number of BPDU, but MST can generate maybe. By the way, MST will generate single BPDU. It is generating single BPDU for all the instances, but maybe I can have 3 instances, 2 instances, and it will generate single instance. Then they can ask you how STP avoid loop. How STP avoid loop?
By detecting the loops and blocking the ports.
So by learning the
Based on the
BPD message, sir, based on BPDUs only, sir.
Nahi.
Route bridge election and port election.
Election, right? One switch is going to become root bridge, and the root bridge switch is going to manage the entire STP domain, right? It will block the redundant link. STP works by blocking the redundant link. Yes. Backup path. And blocking means not admin shutdown. Blocking means it is still receiving the BPDU on the blocking port, right? But not the superior BPDU. Yes. The port where switch is not receiving superior BPDU will become alternate port, and the role of alternate port is going to be blocking, right? So blocking port can receive BPDU or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And then another question can be, can blocking ports transmit the BPDU?
No.
No, sir.
No.
No. Yes. Can one port of switch learn multiple MAC addresses?
Yes.
Yes. This is very popular question.
Yeah, but one port usually learns multiple MAC addresses only.
And can switch learn same MAC address on multiple ports?
No. Otherwise, it will be a MAC flapping thing.
Very good. So switch can learn multiple MAC address on same port, but it cannot learn same MAC address on multiple port. Then they can ask you the difference between, like to make you confused, they can ask you question like this. What is the difference between root bridge and root port?
Route bridge means?
Sir, root bridge is basically who is sending the higher BPDUs.
Higher BPDU.
Neighbor.
Route port
root
means
bridge is the switch who have superior BPDU, best BPDU.
Correct.
Or which have least.
And the port receives superior BPDU in the root port.
Yes.
Route port means least cost path towards the route bridge.
Very good.
Yeah, least go. Yes.
Root port is the port through which switch reach root bridge. Best port to reach
Root to bridge.
root bridge. Right? Then they can ask you the election criteria. Election criteria of root bridge.
Switch with the least bridge priority value will be the root to bridge.
Switch with lower bridge ID.
Bridge priority plus MAC
What is
address.
bridge
Bridge
ID?
ID.
Bridge ID
Bridge
is
ID is
combination of
basically
two things.
Bridge priority and
MAC
VLAN ID.
address and
priority
priority
plus
bridge priority
MAC
value.
address, sir.
Can we change the MAC address of device?
No,
So how will manipulate the root bridge?
by changing the bridge priority value.
By changing the
Bridge
priority.
priority value.
How I can manipulate the RP port? By changing the root path
Priority.
cost.
Cost.
Cost value. Right? So they can ask you how root bridge election will happen, root port, DP, RP, blocking. They can ask you the purpose of port fast. What is the purpose of port fast?
To disable the
Sir, listening and learning state would be
Disable.
skipped over here, sir. In this
Skip.
case.
Yes. Port,
Immediately we can transfer one port
yeah.
from blocking to forward.
Yes. Where you will enable port fast?
On the edge
Any
port.
device.
Switch port.
Any
Access
devices.
port.
End device.
On all the access ports.
Port. Yeah, yes,
where
access
end
port.
devices are
Connected.
connected. Then they can ask you BPDU guard. What is BPDU guard?
If the port fast
If the any devices are forwarding the
enable the ports, if there are any loop created on port path enabled ports, it will be very difficult to detect the loop and block the port by spanning tree. So to avoid this one, we are using the spanning tree BPDU guard.
Very good. And root guard?
Root guard means
Basically,
it is useful to
basically
It is used on
we are
fetching the port
enabling the
not
root
to be
bridge
high.
only.
It is used to protect the root bridge.
Root
Root
bridge.
bridge.
from the attackers, yeah.
Yeah.
To receive
For
the
any
higher
superior
BPD,
BPDU
basically.
receiver, the
After
port will be
enabling
in
root guard, what will happen if a DP port will see BPDU?
It will be in
Error
error
disable
The
state.
port consistent.
Inconsistent.
Inconsistent, you can say.
Very good. Then they can ask you what is EtherChannel?
EtherChannel used to combine multiple ports
Bundling
into a
them,
single logical
bundling
link.
Bundling the multiple L2 or L3 ports into a single port.
Only L2 port.
No, L3
No,
also.
L3
and
also.
L3.
Sir, L3 both. I have said both.
By running no switch port command.
Yes.
Yeah. Good practice is bind layer 2 ports and after that on your port channel run no switch port command. You can make your port channel to layer 3.
Well, means first we can configure all the L2 configurations, then we can on port channel we can enable no switch port.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is the difference between PAGP and LACP?
PAGP is Cisco proprietary.
Cisco
Then
proprietary.
LLDP is standard. open standard.
LACP open standard, sir.
LLDP, yeah.
The modes are LHCP active and
Mode of PAGP is auto and desirable.
Yeah, auto and desirable.
And modes in LACP is
Sir,
Active,
active passive.
active passive. Can I achieve? Okay, fine. What is the difference between layer 2 and layer 3 Ether channel? L2 was L3 Ether channel.
Sir, on L3 Ether channel we can run any protocol of L3, sir.
L2 Ether channel and L3 Ether channel. On L2 Ether channel you can configure all L2 protocol. On L3 Ether channel you can configure all the L3 protocols.
L3 protocol.
Between switches we can configure routing protocols. Basic differences. Right? And how Ether channel perform load balancing? What are the load balancing algorithms?
Sir, on
Destination,
destination,
source
destination,
IP, destination
source
IP.
IP, destination IP.
There will be 6.
And
Source MAC, destination MAC.
and
Source MAC, destination MAC.
and
Source destination make the same cheese in a single.
so we have multiple load balancing algorithm for ether channel.
And sir,
Sometime interviewer can ask you
destination.
know the commands as well. Do you know the command like to check that you have ever configured it or not?
Okay.
So that's why it's important to at least configure once in even
Life.
G. You will have the basic idea about the commands also.
Yeah.
But at least you can say ether channel load balance or a port channel load balance, and after that we can select the algorithm. Like this, they will say, okay, you have the basic idea. Fine. If you have the basic idea, that means you can find the command, na? But even if you don't know anything, then even you cannot find the command then. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Question mark option is there.
And sir, best is by default it is destination IP, right? Source destination IP.
Yes, exactly. Guys, what will happen if there is mismatch in ether channel configuration? Like let's say the port switch
So
on the
Ether,
switch number 1 I have configured, let's say port what, auto, and on switch number 2 I have configured passive.
It will not come up. Ether
it will
channel will
not
not
come up,
come up.
sir.
Not
Ether
come up.
channel would not come up. Yes, sir.
And if there is some mismatch in between the ports, let's say on one port speed is 100 Mbps, on another port speed is 50 Mbps, and we have combined the both ports in ether channel. Will ether channel come up?
No, sir.
No.
Will
Ether
not.
channel will come up, but it will not forward any traffic.
Very good. What is dynamic ARP inspection?
Dynamic conspection.
DI? Dynamic ARP inspection means inspecting the which message? ARP
message.
message,
ARP message.
right? So switch will start inspecting ARP message. How? By checking DHCP snooping binding table,
Yeah. Yes.
right? So for the dynamic ARP inspection, DHCP snooping must be enabled on switch. Otherwise, we have to manually create the table. Then only it will work. How DHCP snooping protect the network, guys?
If there any rogue router present in the network, it will provide the IP address, and actual network devices will not get the IP address from the DHCP server.
No. By making switch port untrusted.
Yes, sir.
Also will enable the
Yeah, yes, to
DHCP
prevent this one,
snooping.
we are using this one.
Also will enable DHCP snooping. What will happen? All the ports will become untrusted.
Untrusted.
Interested,
Yeah,
sir.
yes.
Yes. Then what is MAC aging time? Just randomly I am
300.
asking any
Three-
question.
300
300,
seconds.
300 seconds, sir.
5 minutes.
What is MAC aging time? That is the configured MAC aging time. What is the meaning of MAC aging time?
So for how much time switch would be learning or means
For
keeping
how
the
long switch will keep the MAC address in
Keep
MAC
the
address
MAC
table
address.
for
MAC address table?
dynamic entry?
3 hours.
300 seconds, bro.
3 hours. तो लो आप दूसरा question. Next question. What is the difference between MAC address table and ARP table?
Sir,
MAC
MAC
address
address
table
table you will
carries
find the
MAC addresses, and
wheel
the ARP table
VLAN
contain
in MAC
ARP
address
table.
table.
We used to map the IP address with the MAC address.
MAC address table stores what? MAC
MAC address
address,
only.
MAC address,
VLAN,
And the MAC address to the
VLAN,
switch port.
and interface, sir.
and
Interface.
Switch
port.
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 And then
Port
method,
number.
static or dynamic
Correct.
method. ARP table store what?
Map the
IP address
IP
and the MAC
address to
address.
the switch.
MAC. Map the
Yes.
IP address with the MAC address.
MAC address with IP address. सब कुछ हम लोग कवर किए हैं, सिलेबस नहीं कम कवर हुआ आप लोगों का। क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा हूँ तब पता चल रहा है टॉपिक। ओके फाइन, सो दिस इज डिफरेंस बिटवीन हाफ टेबल एंड मैक एड्रेस टेबल, एंड द टाइमर फॉर हाफ टेबल इज by default, what is the ARP timeout? ARP table timeout. MAC aging
4
time
hours,
is
sir.
300 seconds, 4 hours.
4 hours, sir.
4
ARP
hours
4 hours.
for the ARP,
Yeah,
right?
to flush. Yeah.
Each switch, layer 2 switch maintain ARP table. Is L2 switch maintain ARP table?
No, 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 no.
Yes, for management VLAN.
VLAN management VLAN. Correct.
जहां भी आईपी कॉन्फ़िगर होगा वहां पे
हाँ,
ARP
जहाँ
table।
आईपी होगा, आई थॉट की कोई आईपी नहीं होगा तो इसलिए नहीं करेगा, बट ये सेट की आईपी अगर रिमोट रीचेबिलिटी चाहिए तो मैनेजमेंट आईपी चाहिए अपने को।
Yes. Then we can say what is port security, guys?
Port security used to limit the unauthorized access.
Unauthorized
Used to limit the MAC address on switch port.
So what is the question, sir? Sorry, I
What
didn't
is
heard.
port security?
Yeah.
It is used to bind MAC address or limit the MAC address on switch port. Right? तो ये तो सारे क्वेश्चन L2 स्विच से हैं।
सर
L3 स्विच का कुछ मल्टी लेयर स्विच का क्वेश्चन,
हाँ
टाइम बहुत कम है, सो लेट्स सी सम मल्टी लेयर स्विच क्वेश्चन MLS. Okay, first question is what is the difference between L2 and L3 switch?
L2 switch is used to switching only, switching purpose only, and L3 switches used to switching and routing also.
So we can configure the IP address on the L3 switch and on L2 switch we can't.
We can perform only switching on layer 2 switch, and on the layer 3 switch we can perform switching as well as
Routing both.
Routing. Can anyone tell me how I can improve the switching performance, like the switching behavior? Like how switch forward traffic, whenever switch will receive the traffic, it is going to learn MAC address, then it will compare the destination MAC address with MAC address table, and after that it will forward to other switch, right?
Correct.
This is how traffic is going to flow
Forward.
over the L2 switch. On the L3 switch, it will be using label based forwarding. Label.
Yes, MPLS.
Right, we can, yes, that is also switching only. MPLS is advanced,
Switching.
improved switching mechanism than the switching, L2 switching, by checking the MAC address, right? Both are switching technology. MPLS is the advanced one.
MPLS we can enable in L3 switch.
Yeah, you can.
Yes.
So all routing protocol we can do.
Yes.
In the L3 switch.
Yes.
Okay. And QoS?
QoS also.
Yes, we can also do.
Then also what is the difference between router and L3 switch then?
The L3 switch generally support Ethernet. This is Ethernet switch mainly.
And one more.
And router can support different types of technologies.
Sir, router has.
We cannot configure.
We have multiple ports on switches, sir, and on router we have limited ports.
Yes, that
this
is
the main
also fine.
difference.
L3 switch support layer 3 features only, but router support many other features also, like IPsec,
NATing.
VPN, NATing, right? Those are extra capability of router than routing. And L3 switch is just a L3 device for routing which support routing. When we come up with L3, then the next question in L3 can be what is inter-VLAN routing. Inter-VLAN routing. Sometimes we are saying IVR.
Correct, sir.
What is IVR?
So routing between different VLANs
Routing
is
between different VLAN.
there we need a gateway address basically.
There need a gateway, right? How I can create gateway on layer 3 switch?
By creating the SVI.
By creating
SVI.
SVI. And what is the another way for inter-VLAN routing?
Router on a stick.
Router on a stick.
Router on a step.
Yes.
Sir, what is IVR, the full form?
Inter-VLAN routing.
Inter-VLAN routing.
Okay. Okay.
Right. Can I configure router on a stick on L3 switch?
No.
No.
This is my L3 switch. This is my L3 switch. Config T interface E0/0.1.
We can.
Exit. Interface E0/0.2. This is routing behavior, just right?
Yeah, yes.
In switch also we can divide, sir, interface.
Yes, you can get sub interface here as well. Right after interface E0/0, here I can say no.
Shut.
Switch port. Exit. Okay. Then interface E0/0.1, and I can say what? IP address. Can I configure IP address here? 10.1.1.1.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
10.255.255.255.0. See the error message. What is the error? Configuring IP routing on LAN sub interface is only allow if that sub interface is already configured as a part of .1q.
Yes, we have to.
Right.
Sir, what to enable IP routing?
IP routing is already enabled. Encapsulation protocol .1q for which VLAN?
Encapsulation.1q. Encapsulation.1q.
.1q.
VLAN 1.
Let's say for VLAN 10. Like this. What other error now I am getting?
If the interface does not support baby giant frames, maximum MTU of the interface has to be reduced by 4 bytes on both the sides connection to properly transmit and receive this. The MTU maximum can be configured as 4.
Please
Yeah, reduced by 4.
Please prefer the. This is the important thing.
Documentation on configuring IEEE.
.1q for virtual LAN means for the VLAN. Right. If I will show you here, so IP interface brief. Whatever. Do so IP interface brief. Is IP assigned, guys?
Not yet.
No.
IP address command is already there.
No, it is assigned.
Right.
So वो पहले नहीं लिया था because .1q नहीं था.
.1q was not configured. Interface. So interface E0/0.1. The line protocol you can see up. Status is up. Ethernet address, internet address, MTU. Means it is going to work now.
Correct.
It is going to work. You can use L3 switch as a router, right? We can even allocate all the memory of this MLS for routing only. By default, there is one command. So SDM command is not there. So SDM prefer command is there to check how much memory is assigned for L3 and how much memory is assigned for L2. We can change that as well. If I want L3 switch for switching only, then why I will allocate any memory for routing?
Correct, sir. So in that case, we can say no IP routing, right?
Yes. No IP routing command is only going to disable the routing capability, but
Correct.
it will not allocate all the memory for switching. Some by
Okay.
default, the Cisco have already divide the memory into two part, all the resources into two part. Some
Mm-hmm.
part is for routing, some part is for switching.
Okay.
So you have to manage the memory of L3 switch. This is also question that how we can manage the resources of L3 switch. I want to use it for switching only. How I can allocate all the memory for switching? Maybe when switch is sharing the memory, when routing and switching, it is performing routing and switching, then it is storing, let's say, 1000 MAC address. But if I will allocate all memory for switching, it can store 10 lakhs MAC address. So they can ask you how I will manage the memory. So you can say answer is SDM, switch database manager. Through SDM we can manage it. Guys, what is the difference between, this is a very important question, difference between SVI and routed port. Routed port means when you are directly configuring IP address on switch port, like layer 3 port. See, I have one switch here and one switch here. I need to run OSPF routing protocol here between router 1 and router switch 1 and switch 2. These are multi-layer switch, MLS. I have two options. Either I can configure this port as routed port by running command no switch port. By running command no switch port, I can make this port as layer 3. Or another option is I can keep this link as layer 2. I can configure it as trunk and I can create SVI here for VLAN 12 and 12. And then we can advertise that in OSPF. Then also we will have OSPF neighborship.
Sir, repeat again, sir. ये वाली चीज last वाली.
See, if I want to run OSPF between switch 1 and switch 2, I have two options. Either I can configure this link as layer 3 by running command no switch port, that is called routed port.
Correct.
Right. Other option is I can keep this link as layer 2 only, trunk link. And I can create one SVI here. SVI for VLAN 10, let's say, and SVI for VLAN 10 here. And I can advertise, I can configure IP address and advertise it in OSPF. Then also I will have OSPF neighborship. Correct? So what is the difference between routed port and SVI? This is very, very important for interview.
Sir, routed port, physical port on switch, and SBA virtual port in switch.
Yes. Routed port can be your physical ports of switch. And this is SVI is virtual interface.
Yeah.
Right. So make sure you know the SDM also, switch database manager.
Management.
Manager. Then I can ask you what is span?
Basically, port mirroring is done in Spencer. We can monitor the traffic which is going out from that.
Port mirroring, sir. Port mirroring. We can mirror, get the information.
How many types of spans are there?
3. Local span,
and
remote span.
Remote span and ER
ESN.
span.
ER span.
Right? If source port and destination port belongs to same switch, that is called
Local span.
if source port and destination port belongs to different switch, then
Remote span.
and in remote span, how you will configure the remote span? With the help of span VLAN. Like interviewer can ask you how you will forward the span traffic from the trunk link. With the help of span VLAN. You have seen how we can create the span VLAN.
Yes, sir.
One topic
And ER
is
is span,
missing.
sir.
Huh? ER span
And
is used to share span traffic over tunnel between two different
okay,
sites.
okay, sir.
Guys, one topic is still pending in the switching and no one have remembered me. That is
सर मैंने बताया था सर
हट
ये वाला।
इतने
हाँ
दिन
सर मैंने बताया था यू सेड कि इंडिया में जाके करेंगे।
किस में जाकर करेंगे?
इंडिया में आप वहाँ पे थे सर
तो
तंजानिया में।
अभी जो स्विचिंग खत्म हुआ तो आपने बताया ना।
नहीं मैं सर मैंने टॉपिक बना रखी है लिस्ट, मैं आपको दोबारा पेस्ट कर देता हूँ, मैंने बना रखी है लिस्ट।
स्टैकिंग
Sir, ये
हाँ
IP routing, when this new L3 switch comes, that time we does, right? IP routing.
yes. Now question is what is stacking?
Sir, basically to increase the number of ports in a switch, we do stacking multiple switches.
It is technology
as-
to combine multiple physical switches into single logical switch.
बट वहाँ पे इथर चैनल है ना सर फिर?
अब देखो अब इथर चैनल का डिसएडवांटेज आप पूछ लिए तो देखिए स्विच 1 स्विच 2 these are access switches, access layer switches, layer 2 switches. What is the main purpose of access layer switches, guys?
Sir, just edge ports would be
Connecting
connected,
end
sir.
ओनली
devices
टू हाँ
Yes,
and
sir.
distribution layer switch. Connecting end devices to upper layer, distribution layer. That is main function. Now, if I need to connect these switches together, here I have to use Ethernet link. If I am going to use one Ethernet link, you know the bandwidth is going to be less. It is shared link, right, for all the users. So all
Correct,
the
sir.
users on switch number 1 are going to share this link. So definitely I will use multiple link here. Let's say I'm using 4 link. 4 link here also. And these are 24 port switches. 24 ports switches. How many ports are there?
24.
24 ports. 24 ports and 24 ports. How many user I can connect on switch number 1?
Sir, 23 users you can connect, sir.
No.
और 4 अभी चले गए हैं तो अभी 24
20.
minus
20
20.
users. How many user can be here on switch number 2?
20.
Ship.
Not
No, sorry,
20.
16.
Sir,
16.
If switch 3 is also connected to another switch, then 16
Again
users.
16.
So out of 24, we are occupying 4 Ethernet ports here. And guys, even after bundling these all ports, what will be the total bandwidth? 400 Mbps if all are fast Ethernet link.
Yes, sir.
400 Mbps is total out. If I need more bandwidth, again I have to add more link here. But
Correct.
as we are increasing the link here, the port for user is decreasing.
Less.
Right? So if I am not connecting, let's say any user on switch number 2, then what is the logic of using switch here? Just to connect switch 1 and switch 3, I have use switch 2 here, right?
Correct, sir.
This is the issue of ether channel here. Ether channel is fine for distribution layer switches or link between access layer and distribution layer. Right? For access layer, you can see in my topology also, I have never connected access layer switches directly. Am I right? Here I am using 3 switches just to increase the number of ports. But we have already utilized so many ports. Reason of using 3 switches over here is just to increase the ports. In the production, you will never connect switch 1 and switch 2 access layer switches together. Because this method connecting switches together through Ethernet link is failed or dead. for access layer. So how we can see, by default we have total 24 plus 24 plus 24 ports. Total how many ports are there? 86 plus 24. Around 110 ports are there, right? Means we can connect 110 users. So that's why we come up with a technology called stacking. Stacking allow you to use all the ports, right? What you can do, you can combine these all switches through a stack wise cable. On your switch there will be one port like this. A stack port on switch. Are you able to see the stack port? See how we have connected 4 switches in a stack. Here I am not using any Ethernet port to connect the switch. All the switches are connected through a stack wise cable. A stack wise cable. This is a stack cable. This is a stack cable, right? So you know how a stacking is going to work. Let me tell you in next 5 minutes. Let's say I have 4 switches or 3 switches. Switch number 1, switch number 2, switch number 3. 3 switches are there, like this, right? There are 2 stack port. I am connecting a stack port first to a stack switch port of switch 2 like this, and then we can have one link like this for the redundancy. And the bandwidth of a stack cable is I think 30 Gbps, 36 Gbps, right? So what will happen, one switch is going to become again master in the stack. This is your switch 1, this is your switch 2, this is your switch 3. Switch 3. Here we have ports from Ethernet, let's say 0/02, Ethernet 0/24. Here also we have same ports, and here also we have same ports, right? So also we will configure these switches in a stack. One switch is going to become master. Let's say switch 1 is master switch. Master switch in the stack. So this switch is going to manage the control plane. Control plane will be managed by master switch only, and all the switch will get one stack wise number. Let's say stack wise number of this switch is 1, a stack wise number of this switch can be 2, a stack wise number of this switch can be 3, right? So their ports are going to now become E1/0/02, E1/0/24, right? Their ports, switch 2 ports are going to become these 2/ first stack wise number, then slot number, and then port number. So you can say that now these are all ports on a single switch. You can see all are unique port, right? Different port. All are the ports of one single switch. Now STP or VTP, whatever layer 2 protocols you have seen, that is going to work on these ports, not on your physical port. Your switch, master switch, is only going to handle control plane traffic. Let's say I want to put user who is connected over here in VLAN 10. How I will put? How I will configure it? I will configure on
master switch.
Master switch only. On master switch I am going to say interface E
2/0/0/24
24 and switch port access VLAN 10.
10, let's say.
VLAN 10. It is going to put switch 20/24 ports in VLAN 10. So all the configuration is going to be managed by switch 1 only, right? The VLAN, STP, all the things. STP will only work on switch number 1 now. And we can connect users on all the switch port. This is the main core technology of stacking. Right?
And sir, if switch two gone bad, then how we can identify it is not in good condition?
You can check the stack wise configuration. There are some verification command. The all switches are active
Okay.
or not.
Show
Again,
switch command
let's
is
say
there,
this
sir.
port is down. So I will troubleshoot it similar like switch port. If this port is trunk port, let's say, and the native VLAN is different, we can verify that. Check it similarly like this, right? Similarly like switch port, you will configure the ports VLANs or the trunk dot one q. Let's say 3/0/0/0. I'm going to configure this link is trunk link. That means I'm configuring switch 30/0 port, physical Ethernet 0/0 port of switch 3.
Sir, why do we require to configure suppose E30/0/0/0 as a trunk? यहाँ पे.
Maybe this port is connected to distribution layer switch.
So master switch has to be connected to the distribution,
Why?
right?
We have only single switch, bro. This is single switch. This single switch has these all ports. Now any port can be the trunk port. Any port can be connected to my distribution layer switches.
Okay, got it.
Now we have single switch, and on that single switch we have these all ports. I can connect user here, I can connect other switch here, I can connect access point, any devices. Instead of connecting through Ethernet cable like this, you will use stacking technology here to combine multiple switches, right? So interviewer can ask question from the stacking also. Many times they are asking. So these are very, very basic question from the switching. Very, very, very basic. Even I have not created scenarios, right? Few scenarios, but all are the direct questions. Direct question from the topic, like what is, how it's work, like that type of questions. Getting my point? See,
Sir, how we can
the
enable?
strength of class is 14 only today. Okay, yes.
सर VLAN होपिंग कैसे कॉन्फ़िगर कर सकते थे हम लोग?
कमांड था ना, वो रिकॉर्डिंग में देखिएगा, कमांड मैंने कॉन्फ़िगर किया था ना, विलन होपिंग स्विच पे.
ग्लोबल में चलेगा वो?
हाँ, ग्लोबल में चलेगा.
ओके सर.
Right. So guys, anything from the switching module? Any question? And then we can have some question from the FHRP protocol also. First off,
Correct.
redundancy protocol. We have not covered all the questions, all the topics. Yes, but we have covered some popular topics. Then from the DSCP snooping, we have seen some question. .1q VLAN ट्रंकिंग, ये सबसे बहुत ज्यादा क्वेश्चन रहता है, बहुत ही ज्यादा. समझ रहे?
ये कुछ टॉपिक मैंने सर नोट कर रखे थे.
Okay.
सर क्लासेस कैसे चलेंगी अभी अपनी?
अभी अपनी क्लासेस चलेगी वीकेंड में।
ओके।
वीकेंड में होगा क्लास लगभग में 11 बजे से 1 बजे तक।
ओके सर।
सर
सैटरडे
ये
संडे।
रेगुलर नहीं चलेगा क्या?
हाँ, नहीं नहीं, अपना तो रेगुलर आपका चलता ही रहेगा ना, इन लोगों का
हाँ।
नहीं चलेगा अभी कल से।
ओके सर।
तो आप उस ग्रुप में क्या, अक्षय वाले ग्रुप में आप राउटिंग शुरू कर रहे हैं?
पहले तो कुछ बेसिक चीज़ें ही करूँगा राउटिंग से पहले,
ओके।
देखते हैं कैसे क्या होता है।
जी सर।
पैकेट फ्लो हो गया है उसमें,
अच्छा, हो गया उसमें?
देखूंगा, लेकिन पैकेट फ्लो शायद लगता है फिर से एक बार कवर करना ही पड़ेगा राउटिंग